Next is linking the actual quiz data to the autoresponder. So this is where you actually set up your actual quiz. And the quiz software, as I mentioned, allows you to set up everything and then link that data to your autoresponder and those custom fields. And you can also add like special tags for certain things, like, quiz takers, whatever type of tags you want. You can get like as creative as possible. So now I'm going to go back to my Interact account. And so I'm logged in here, and you can see I created a quiz already. But I'm just kind of going to kind of show you if you wanted to create your own quiz from scratch. You would just click on Create Quiz. And it will say if you want to do it from scratch or you want to use a template. And as I mentioned, it really depends on you. If they don't have a template that's probably going to align with your business, you're probably going to have to do it from scratch. So we go here, and then you can see all these different categories of templates here, right? So say, for instance, if you're in, coaching or business, and you want to see what types of quizzes they got templates for. Then they have different types. You have assessment, personality, or score. You can read through these in your own leisure. I usually use personality. Go next, and then now you can see all these different quiz examples. They got what type of coach are you, what's your brand voice style, do you need a life coach, what type of entrepreneur are you, what type of leader are you, do you have what it takes to start an online business. Something like this would be amazing for people that are like affiliate marketing, things of that nature, because it's challenging somebody. Do they have what it takes to start an online business? And depending on their quiz outcomes, you may have different programs that you can offer them that if they're not ready, you can help them get ready, right? And you can totally customize that experience for them. So this is like a quiz. You could use this template and be off and running like super fast. But as I mentioned, if there isn't nothing that you like, then you kind of have to start from scratch. So when you create a new quiz, so say for instance, if I create a new personality quiz here, the UI is like super friendly. You're gonna have like the quiz title on the left here, because you're really gonna kind of interact with the left side mostly. You're always gonna have a cover. You're always gonna have results, and you're always gonna have questions. That's always gonna fail. That's never gonna change. And this totally matches up with this, like I said, the 6-step process. As I mentioned, you're gonna do your title, you're gonna do your results / outcomes, and then you're gonna have your questions as well. So say for instance, I'm just gonna say sample title. And then also you will have your results as well. So so this could be like result 1. And then you got result 2, and then you can have your questions like question A. And then you would have your answers. So you can add answers, yes, no, maybe, things of that nature. And so you just kind of like building a shell of it. And say, for instance, if you wanted to like link, their responses to the outcome, each question is going to have like this section that says edit result correlations, and you can click on it and you can say, okay, so if they say yes, they get result 1. If they get no, they get result 2. And if they get maybe they don't get result, or maybe they can get result 1. It really depends. It's totally up to, how we structure our quiz and everything of that nature. You can also have a lead capture page, and this you're definitely going to want to turn this on, because what happens is someone goes through the funnel, they answer all the questions, and then they're going to come to this page, and you want them to put in their email address before you send them the results. And then once they put in the email address, then they get sent either result 1 or result 2, right? So now I'm going to kind of show you a quiz that's more filled in, that I already kind of have set up. I haven't started running any traffic to it yet, but it's already set up here. Let me just delete this sample one. All right, so now we're going to go edit and take a look at it here. So this is my quiz for my dating. So here, a few things that I mentioned here that we wanted to do is we wanted to link our quiz data to the autoresponder. So first and foremost, let me just kind of give you an overview of everything. This is a fully functional quiz that's set up. So you can see it already has the cover page. It has 3 different results. So result 1, so I have a little, text here with a call to action. Result 2, text is a little bit different with a call to action. And then you got result 3. And then I have a set of questions here. And each one of these questions, as I mentioned before, they correspond to these custom fields that I created in my email autoresponder. So say, for instance, this question here: do you believe in love at first sight? I have a question. I have an actual custom field. Believe in love at first sight? Yes or no? Question after that: can you tell a man's actually shows respect for you or not? As I said, this is a dating quiz. So like I said, if you're not into the dating industry, you may or may not be able to vibe along with it. But just think about the concepts. Like I said, regardless of what industry I'm in, this process is the same. You're basically providing an offer to a target market, right? So each one of these quizzes, they all pretty much have yes, no sometimes. And then if you click on like edit correlations, you can see I have them mapped. So if they say yes, it means they go to this result. They say no, they go to this result. If they say sometimes, they go to this result. And it's a score. So as they go through all these questions, the more scores they have of this result, they're going to get that result. The more they have of this one, they're going to get that one. And that actually helps them understand, where they kind of at. And then I also have some other questions as well, and these are questions that really help me segment my list. Because just think about it, especially for my friends who buy solo ads. I mean, I really want to speak to you heavily because when we buy solo ads, a lot of times there is very, very limited narrowing we can do. We can't usually tell people to send us male traffic or female traffic, or traffic in certain age ranges, or traffic by certain relationship statuses, or maybe we only want coaches or people who are service providers. Without doing something like this, that solo app provider couldn't fulfill for you. But, think about it. You now have that ability to get that traffic yourself, and probably for a lot cheaper, I'm going to show you, than if you were buying something like solo ads. And if you ever wanted to sell something like solo ads, I mean, you could build your list using this type of method in a market, say for instance, like make money online or health, and you can totally raise your prices because the quality of your list is so segmentable. So, just kind of take that one, and think about that as well. So as you can see, each one of these here, they're all like, what's your relationship status? And some of these don't actually link to results because some of these are just kind of questions to help me understand who they are as an individual, like what their makeup is. So, I don't really need to tie them to a specific result. Like, just because of their relationship status, I don't need to tie them to an actual result. But if they answer one of these questions about actual relationship statuses, then yes, I do want to tie them to a result. So that's kind of how the quiz setup is from end to end. But what we were here for is really the integration. So as I mentioned before, the first thing for the integration, you click up here for your opt-in form. And then next, you have to go click on this next page, and you have to click it to your email autoresponder. And what it looks like is when you come to this page, if I wasn't connected, you're basically going to see a list of all these different autoresponders. And you can click on the one that you use. And then once you click on it, it's going to basically ask you to sign in to that autoresponder or enter something like your API key. And that way you can actually be connected to it and actually have the integration set up from interact to whatever your autoresponder is. From there, you go next. And then you have to select whatever like that email account is or that list. So this one is called awakenhisobsession.com. That is actually the domain name that I'm using for this quiz, so awakenhisobsession.com. So you can definitely check it out if you want to. Go to save next. And this is where it gets super interesting. This is where the rubber meets the road, and you're going to be sending all the data from the quiz over to your actual autoresponder by setting up these triggers. So say, for instance, I'm going to remove these here and just kind of do it from scratch. Actually, I'm just gonna do the top one. So when you come in here, this will be blank, just like it is now. It will be blank. So basically, what this is saying is, if somebody comes through the quiz and get this result, what do you want to happen in your autoresponder? So first, I want them to have their custom field that I created for them. And this one, I created a custom field called quiz results. I want them to have that custom field updated with whatever their result was. And then also, I want them to be tagged with a particular tag. And I'll show you that why I'm tagging them with this later. But I want them to be tagged with that they started the relationship quiz. So I know that this subscriber got that particular quiz result and they're tagged with that they started the relationship quiz. So you do this for each one of your results. You're going to link them to whatever the result name is. And that data gets sent over to the autoresponder. So now if I go save and continue, now you actually have to go through each and every answer and tie that data to the custom field in the autoresponder. So say for instance, you click on the first one here. I'm going to delete it so you can see what it looks like. This is what it will look like normally here. It will be blank. And so if someone says yes to this, do they believe it love at first sight? I want to say, okay, I want their custom field, believe it love at first sight, to be updated with yes. And if they say no, I want that same custom field to be updated with no. And so what you do is you go through each and every one of your questions and you do that. And the only thing you have to update is the actual custom field. So as you're developing your quiz, you're going to want to kind of think about the questions and kind of make a custom field name that kind of like identifies that question. So say for instance, this one here. The question is, can you tell if a man is playing vulnerable or blah, blah, blah? So my custom field for this one is, can they tell if the man is verbal? Yes or no, or sometimes. So it makes it a lot easier for me and my autoresponder to know exactly the data for that person. And then you go to, you just like I said, you do all your questions, and then you go save to next. And then this is the form field mapping. So the form field is just really the opt-in page. So like I said, they go through the quiz, and then before they can get the results, they got to go through the opt-in page. So you just need to make sure that it's mapped to your autoresponder. So email is mapped to email, and then the first name is mapped to first name, and then you go save and continue. So now we can actually test the integration as well. So that's one thing I really love about Interact is you can test it. So I'm going to click test here. And I'm going to just put it on my email address here. Okay. My first name is Marquiste. And you can put in what the quiz results is. You can even put in you can go in and totally change all these values so you can see exactly how it's going to look in your autoresponder. And then you want to say just send test leads to my list. And then it gives you this success message. And then now what you can do is go back into your autoresponder. And now you can see my lead is here. And depending on your autoresponder, of course, this is going to look a little different, but this is kind of how it looks in Drip. Just 1 second here. It's moving a little slow. Come on. Okay. I wanted to see the activity flow because that's where it looks cool. I'm not sure. Yes, like internet's moving like super slow. But on the page for tags and custom fields, you can see the data here as well. So you can see that this person here, me, has been tagged with start a relationship quiz. And then you can also see all the custom data that has came in from, filling out the quiz or fictionally going through the quiz. So you can see my age range, if I believe in love site, first name, if I'm a parent, my longest relationship length, blah, blah, blah. So like I said, a lot of data that we're going to be able to totally use later. So that's kind of like how you link the data to the autoresponder from there. One other thing I want to mention before I move on is also how you link this data in your emails as well. So if we look at one of these emails here, I'm going to go to the actual quiz results. This is the email someone gets when they first sign up to the actual quiz. It says, it's a little dramatic, but sometimes you know how it is in online marketing. Urgent your relationship quiz results. So subscriber first name, we have a problem. So right here alone, you can see that I'm using their person's name. So in this case, it would say, Marquiste, we have a problem. And then I kind of just go through the email and just kind of, talk about who I am, things of that nature. And then you can see throughout this email, I'm actually using some of that custom data. So here it says, although you've been in relationships for as long as, and then I'm using this particular custom field. So if they said 5 to 10 years, it's going to say 5 to 10 years. Another place that I'm using here is their relationship status. So I said, you mentioned to me that you're currently, and whatever their relationship status they enter, it's going to show up. So if they said married, it will say, you mentioned that you're currently married. Is this accurate? Please respond, and I will adjust my recommendation accordingly. Moving on from there, it says, well, keep in mind, I'm not here to listen to you vent in person, laugh out loud, but it appears to me that your quiz result. And this is what their actual quiz result is. So if we go back to Interacts, say for instance, if this person's quiz result was your senses need a lot of work predicting male behavior, that's what it would say here, is that it appears to me that your senses need a lot of work with predicting male behavior. Even down here, I'm using their name. Hey, first name, so it's a Marquise. I'm sending you a personalized 42-minute video. And I mean, like I said, you want to get as customized as possible in this email because you just want to, just bring that congruency home, make them feel like it's super personalized to them. And, like I said, you're going to just see those conversion rates be a lot higher, a lot higher. And you can use these custom fields throughout your emails as much as you want. Like in Drip, it's pretty easy because you can just add this, click on personalize, and all those custom fields that we created, we can actually use them in the email. We just may have to write the sentence in a certain fashion so it fits appropriately, but it's all usable in your email. And you can also, like, the even better part about this is that when you send your broadcast, you can totally send emails to specific people as well. So say, for instance, if you wanted to create a new broadcast, I'm just going to create a quick test here. We might want to add a filter here. In any autoresponder that you use, there's going to be the ability to use a filter, right? So we could say something like custom fields, believe in love at first sight, equals yes. So that way, if we wanted to send an email, that, like I said, maybe it's something related to, people meeting soulmates, love at first sight, something like that. There's a lot of stuff like that on ClickBank about soulmates and love at first sight. And we only wanted to send to those people. We can save the segment and then send the broadcast to those people. If someone says that they don't believe in love at first sight, why are we going to send it to them? That's one reason why people are only going to unsubscribe from your list. And they're not going to bond with you for long as they normally would, because you're just kind of sending them a lot of generic stuff. All right, so 3 easy ways to promote your quiz. Thanks for staying in there, folks. Hopefully you guys are getting some value out of this. Please just, shoot me a thumbs up if everything's looking good so far. But moving on, 3 easy ways to promote your quiz. The first is website traffic. So the easiest way, once you actually get your quiz set up, is if you have a website, just put it on your blog. A lot of companies do that nowadays. They get a quiz set up and they just drop it on the blog and just kind of go from there. Another thing that you can do is use one of those hello bars. A lot of websites use the hello bars for things like coupons, But you can also use the hello bar for stuff like quizzes as well and send people to the actual quiz from there.